I was very successful for about 5 years, but then that ego crept in. And I have an acronym for ego: exaggerated, glorified opinions. I thought I was better than I was. I always chased glory, and I was always somebody to give an opinion and not shut my mouth when I needed to. And because of that, Joe, I made some really bad mistakes, lost everything.
Welcome to the Spartan Up podcast with Joe De Sena, founder and CEO of Spartan Race.
We are talking about overcoming obstacles. The same way we teach people to get over obstacles on the course, we will teach you here on the Spartan Up podcast to get over obstacles in your mind.
Marques Ogden played in the NFL as an offensive lineman for 6 years, but transition came hard. Through the lows and the highs, he learned how to find success. Today he shares those lessons with Joe: accountability and constant motion. This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Brightside. Dealing with anxiety or depression can be paralyzing, but you should know you are not broken and you're not alone. And when you want help, Brightside is there for you. Take a free mental health assessment and get up to $100 credit on your first month of treatment at brightside.com/Spartan. That's brightside.com/Spartan.
Joe De Sena here, CEO and founder of Spartan, for Spartan Up podcast, where we rip you off the couch and get you moving in life. I got Marques Ogden, previous NFL player.
That's correct.
Probably the most resilient guy in the world. Been up and down, I heard, 3 times. Massive success and some failures, but I can't even call them failures, right? What do we call them? Learning moments.
Learning lessons. Correct, Joe.
So start us from the beginning, because, I got a kids camp going on right now at the farm, and the kids, I had some of them crying, and they're upset, and they don't know if they could do this or that, but somehow you figured it out. What you just dusted off and got back right on the field.
Absolutely, man. I mean, for me, Joe, I grew up in Washington, D.C., single-parent household, single father. I remember playing football at St. John's College High School, and I struggled, man. I wasn't the biggest kid when I left high school. Wasn't like my brother, who was a first-round draft pick, Hall of Famer in the NFL, and my path was different. I almost quit football my junior year. It was tough. It was hard. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And my dad told me, he said, Marques, I'm going to tell you just like this, son. In life, you got to make a choice. Either you're going to do it or you're not. Plain and simple. He said, quit football today, that's it. I'm not taking you to practice tomorrow, you're done. I'm not going to have you go in and out, in and out. And he said, but you're going to hate yourself if you end up leaving and quitting because of a coach. You're never going to know how good you could have been. And with that advice, Joe, I went upstairs to bed, woke up the next morning, Dad, take me to practice. Was a starter in high school, got to college, got to Howard, drafted to the NFL, first lineman, and still the only lineman, Joe, drafted to the National Football League. But it all started my junior year with some grit, perseverance, and never giving up on my talents.
And that one moment where Dad kind of set you straight. This morning with some of the kids, one of the coaches here said something like your dad, which was awesome. There was a girl completely crying, and hang on, my daughter's about to come out and make some noise. Sorry. I should actually get her on the podcast. Alex, come here for a minute. No, come here for a second. Come here. I want to introduce you to somebody. Hello. Can you see Alex? Marques? Alex is doing the death camp right now, and she had some moments of weakness, and I'm led to understand that she said to my wife yesterday, Mom, what happens if I quit? Do I get kicked out of the family, or how does this work? Is that what you asked? Yes. That's what I heard. What were you thinking? What were you thinking?
It's okay.
It's okay. What happens if you quit? You get kicked out of the family? That's not what Mommy said. No. What were you thinking, though? Were you thinking it was too hard? You know what I was just going to tell Marques is what I heard this morning from one of the coaches, which was amazing. Marques, I don't know if you ever heard this one-liner. Basically, the coach said, look, you can quit, but tomorrow. Right? You're allowed to quit tomorrow. And if you go through it with that kind of mindset, tomorrows keep coming, and before you know it, you haven't quit. Isn't that awesome? because
That's great.
what I saw happen to the kids was like, oh, okay, I just got to wait till tomorrow. And then tomorrow we're going to tell them the same thing, right? And you could literally play that game with yourself.
All day, Joe. All day, every day. Because at the end of the day, it's us every day moving forward. Like in my career now as a speaker, a coach, a trainer, move forward every single day. And I tell my clients, never give up. Because the day you give up, you never know if that was going to be your day for greatness. You have no ideas. You can't give up. You just can't do it.
I agree with that. But you don't know that if you're 13, 14, 15 years old, or in Alex's case that you just met, 8 years old, right? She's going through a tough moment. How awesome is that? Mommy, what happens if I quit? Do I get kicked out of the family? That is awesome. So then what happens? So you somehow muster up the will, to get through football and get to the highest level. Then now you're on top of the world. You don't need to do anything else.
So I was in the NFL, Joe, and it was phenomenal. Almost 6-year career, made great money, made great friends. But just like in life, you're going to have those adversities. And when I ended up getting released because I had a back injury and my career was just like not what it was, that was the hardest part of my life, Joe. Like, what do I do next? What is my talent? Where can I go? What can I do? And that's when I had to look inside myself after I felt sorry for myself for about 6 months. I put the bottle down, I got up off the couch, and I said, Marques, you have got to make something more of yourself today. And that's when I launched my construction business, which was very good for many years. But then, of course, just like in life, you think you know everything, life hits you in the face again.
Was that, when did you start the construction business? When was that?
2008, Joe.
Perfect timing. I like it. And did you have construction experience, or you're just very bold?
None. I was very bold. I had no construction. Well, I went to one little course in Southern California for a couple of weeks, but I had no experience in it. I had no real knowledge. And I just said, what am I going to do? And I said, I want to make money. I want to get off this couch. And I said, construction sounds great. So I just jumped in, Joe, head first. And I was very successful for about 5 years. But then that ego crept in. And I have an acronym for ego: exaggerated, glorified opinions. I thought I was better than I was. I always chased glory. And I was always somebody to give an opinion and not shut my mouth when I needed to. And because of that, Joe, I made some really bad mistakes. Lost everything, and filed a Chapter 7 complete bankruptcy in 2013.
Exaggerated, glorified opinions. I'm stealing that from you. That is awesome. When I hear stuff like this, I think back 20 or 30 years when I was getting going. If there were podcasts and people like you for me to listen to and gain this experience, oh my God, it would have like 10x'd my life, But we didn't have it back then. You just kind of figured it out as you went along. So yeah, I wish I had it back then. So now you're bankrupt again.
Yep.
And were you off the bottle and pretty clean during those 5 years? Were things working well?
I was off the bottle except for socially. I wasn't an alcoholic like I ended up becoming after my NFL career. But then I became an alcoholic again, Joe. Of course, much cheaper alcohol, this Miller Lite beer. I couldn't afford anything else when I lost everything because I was just so down. I was so depressed. I was so defeated. Life had just tore me down. That's what I felt like. You said, tear you off the couch. I felt like life just tore me down because I was just so caught up, Joe, in being Mr. Sensational, Mr. Everything, Mr. Everybody. I stopped treating people correctly, and that was the beginning of my end. So when I got to Raleigh in 2013, Joe, I had $400 to my name, home was foreclosed on, both cars repossessed. I got down here with completely nothing and had to start all over again.
Hard to do. I mean, it's hard for people to start once, let alone, a second time, because maybe now you're discouraged, like you said, and you're starting to think maybe you're a failure, right? Like you get in your own head.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I I tell everybody, for 6 months, Joe, from April 2013 to September 2013, I was constantly in victim mode. Poor Marques, partner screwed me, the developer, my employees, it was everybody's fault other than mine. And what happened is I was fired from 2 jobs in the same week after about 2 months of being here. You thought that would have woke me up? Absolutely not. Still, that company's fault and that company's fault. Worked as a custodian for $8.25 an hour, and that was a great experience to help me take care of my family. But the rock bottom moment, Joe, was when somebody's trash, rotten meat, nasty banana peels, horrible protruding garbage covered my body, my skin, my clothes. That was my wake-up call. Came home that morning and I realized that the enemy I was dealing with was the man in the mirror. And once I took responsibility, Joe, I started a plan. What do I do well? I'm good at wanting to help people. I'm a good communicator. I'm a good storyteller. Let's start speaking. Well, unfortunately, I'm like, like you just said, man, I'm going to be the next Tony Robbins. I didn't have anything like that to help me. I was just like, I would see things on TV here or there. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be the next Les Brown. It can't be that hard. 2.5 years, Joe, not one paid speaking job. Not one. I worked football camps, training just to make ends meet. Got my first paid speaking job April 2016 with a small college called Miller Mock College in Wilmington, North Carolina. Last 5 years, Joe, I've worked for 25 Fortune 500 companies as a speaker, written 2 best-selling books, turned my life around. But it all started, Joe, with that rock bottom moment saying, Marques, you're the culprit, nobody else.
You know, you hear it all the time, right? It's that cliche. It's that the person has to be at the bottom in order to change their ways. And so, you know, I'm not suggesting everybody out there dump a bag of garbage on themselves, but like that's probably why, and this is not a plug in any way, but that's probably why doing these difficult races we put people through changes their life, because for them, they're broken on the mountain, right? They're crawling under barbed wire. They've never done anything like that before. That's that garbage bag moment where they want to make a change. I guess you just need to be willing to make a change. Is that fair?
Well, you need to be willing, Joe, to put yourself in a situation out of your comfort zone to make the change. The actor Jonah Hill has a great saying, the comfort zone is where dreams go to die.
We'll be right back to this interview, but first I want to talk about our sponsor, Brightside. This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Brightside. Dealing with anxiety or depression can be paralyzing, but you should know that you are not broken and you are not alone. This past year has taken an unprecedented toll on all of our lives. In fact, during the pandemic, 40% of Americans reported symptoms of anxiety or depression. But it's time to get back out there. Do what you need to do. And if that means help, get help. Get the help you need to make changes. You can get fast, personalized, effective help from Brightside. One of their customers said, quote, I am so relieved to have found Brightside. As someone who was having daily panic attacks and an overwhelming fear of leaving the house, I felt stuck and alone. Brightside has been a godsend and has given me the tools I need to take the steps in recovering. So listen, Spartans. If you're having a hard time, get the help you need. Brightside offers personalized, life-changing anxiety and depression care from your own home. Brightside's care is designed to follow the highest clinical standards, and they hand-select only top licensed and board-certified providers. And it's affordable, with a flat monthly fee and no hidden costs. Just go to brightside.com/Spartan and take a quick free mental health assessment, and within 48 hours, you'll be connected to an expert provider to start your personalized treatment plan. If you go to brightside.com/Spartan and take that assessment, you could get up to $100 credit on your first month's treatment. That's brightside.com/Spartan. Look, do whatever you've got to do to get back out there. All right, back to the interview.
You need to be willing, Joe, to put yourself in a situation out of your comfort zone to make the change. The actor Jonah Hill has a great saying, the comfort zone is where dreams go to die. And in your races and what you do, you push people out of their comfort zone. You can't be running a Spartan race scared. You can't do it. You have to push aside your fear and say, I'm on this platform. I'm here on this course. I'm going to kick ass on this course today. Otherwise, you're not going to do your best, or worse yet, you could get hurt. And I tell everybody, when you're an athlete and you're doing something very physically exerting, you better put your fear aside. Greatest tip I ever got, Joe, Marco Coleman was a defensive end in the NFL. He actually had a small little part in the Ace Ventura Pet Detective movie where Jim Carrey chased him around the track and jumped on his back and put the little chloroform on him, and he got him knocked out to check his ring. He was my teammate as a rookie. He said, Marcus, great job today. We did a little bit of pass rush, one-on-one pass rush. He said, Marcus, great job today, son. I'm going to tell you this. You've got talent, but the one thing your brother has that I know no other offensive lineman has is that he's never scared under any situation. He told me, if I can smell your fear, you're done. If I don't know you're scared and you come to the line, you're going to challenge me, you're going to bring your best, you're going to hit me in the mouth, and you're going to make me, get up off the ground, you're going to try to pound me into the ground, I'm going to have a great day, and so are you, but we're going to be out here battling. But if I ever think or I can feel or smell or sense you're scared and you're afraid to go against me, that's the death of you, because I'll never, ever stop. I won't stop until I have your heart in my hands. That's what he told me. And once I heard that as a 22-year-old rookie, Joe, right then and there, I learned that if I'm afraid, don't show it. Go to work every day. Put your hard hat on. Strap your boots on. Let's go to work.
You just gave me another great one-liner for my kids. My boys wrestle, and my older boy definitely wrestles with a little fear oozing out of him. And I'm going to give him that one-liner and see if it hits him like it hit you, because competition smells. They smell the blood. They smell the fear.
The good ones do, because I tell everybody, if you're training, great. So what? Your competition trains too. You got to have that inner determination and passion. I have an acronym for mindset, Joe. Mentally invested, never-ending determination sets expanding talents. You have to be mentally prepared to go to battle. You have to be invested in your future, because if you're not, then how are you going to get to success? Have a never-ending dogfight mentality. Be determined, inner passion to be the best no matter what. Set a goal, achieve a goal, set a new goal. Expand out of your comfort zone. Everybody has talent. What is the work ethic you do with the talent you have? That's mindset to me.
I love it. Where are you now? Where are you located?
I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
I was going to say, we got a wrestling tournament coming up. I'd bring the boys to come see you and just have you ooze out all these sayings and all this confidence. And it is amazing to listen to you, because had I not known your history, I would say, this guy's just been a success since he was born. He's just amazing. He's positive. He speaks well. He's never been knocked down. But it just goes to show you, no matter where anybody is in their life, it's not the end. Right? It's not the end.
No, it's not. I mean, I forgot who said this quote. Never confuse a small defeat with the final one. And that's what I learned. When I lost everything, Joe, that was a small defeat. When I was sitting down on the couch trying to get myself up, that was a small defeat. If I would have stayed on the couch, that would have been a final defeat. But I found enough inner strength to say, I've got to do this. I can't let myself down. I can't, there's got to be a way to turn my mess into a message. And then that's what I started doing. I've been doing it ever since, and I love it. And I just love to help people get past their own fears.
I love it. How do people find you?
They can go to our website, Joe, which is www.marques, MARQUES, Ogden, OGDEN.com. Connect with us, hit us up, get in touch with us today. Love to speak with you and have a great conversation.
And for those that don't reach out, because a lot of people just don't take that first step, outside of reaching out to you, give them 3 tips on a daily basis that'll just change your life.
Number 1, okay? This is why you need to have an unbreakable mindset. 3 keys to do that, Joe. Number 1, have good physiology. Move with energy and passion and conviction. Be proud of who you are and know that you are somebody of worth. Number 2, control your mental focus. Don't worry about what you can't change. Worry about what you can change. And third, believe at your core you deserve to succeed. You deserve it, but you have to believe that. If you don't believe it, Joe, nobody else will. So great physiology, control your mental focus, and for God's sakes, believe you deserve to succeed. If you do those 3 things, Joe, everything else in life will work itself out.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm going to get right to it, and I might send Alex to one of your courses, the little girl you met, my daughter.
Come on, man. Absolutely. I love that. I have a set. My daughter turns 7 next month, so I'm all about that. And it's interesting. She always tells me, she says, Daddy, I've heard a lot about you, your stories, all that, and it's just amazing you're here today doing what you're doing. I tell her, well, honey, I want you to see that when life knocks you down, you can get back up. But you have to be strong enough to want to do so for your own self.
Let's remember, if we can, later this summer possibly, or next summer, when I do this camp again, this is a one-off thing. We don't do a lot of them. You should come to the camp. You should bring your daughter, whoever else you want to bring. Because this message is powerful, we film it, and all the adults you get, that's cool, but the kids are a lot of fun, because the kids, you could really change the trajectory of their life,
That's how I started, Joe. I started with Pop Warner football, middle school football. I actually did a sports camp in Oklahoma, 7th through 12th grade, boys and girls, and they just loved it, because these are young children that need to see somebody outside their family believes in them. And it was a great saying. One person showing a kid they believe in them gives them a better chance, almost 40% chance more being successful if just one person says, I believe in you, and they can tell that's genuine.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Spartan Up Podcast. Spartan Up is your partner in resilience for mind, body, and spirit. We're here 3 days every week. Tuesdays, you can find Joe De Sena, founder and CEO of Spartan, interviewing biohackers, business leaders, authors, and athletes. Thursdays and Saturdays, catch episodes from our DECA, Endurance, Trail, Combat, and La Ruta series. Do you know someone who needs a little nudge? Maybe they could use some motivation, tactics to be stronger, healthier, happier, more successful. Tell them about our show. And if you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment. We want to know who's watching and who's listening. Thanks. See you next time. This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Brightside. Dealing with anxiety or depression can be paralyzing, but you should know you are not broken and you're not alone. And when you want help, Brightside is there for you. Take a free mental health assessment and get up to $100 credit on your first month of treatment at brightside.com/Spartan. That's brightside.com/Spartan.